start the stream and talk about jumping straight in from work. Right,
Take a breath, bud.
Right, I think we're live. Hold on a second. Yeah, we're live. How are you doing? Richie, how are you doing? You well?
I'm sound, mate. How are you, buddy?
Davey's not with us because he's having problems with his diabetes and stuff at the minute. So he's until he gets that all sorted, we'll just have to hang fire. So if anybody wondering what's up with Davey, he's just battling with that and stuff at the minute. But you know, he's all right.
Good.
You gotta be right.
Hope you are right, Davey, mate, if you're watching, buddy.
Aye.
Hope you get well soon, mate.
All the best, Davey, lad. Spot on, mate. Everybody's asking for you. Stephen Martin says, hi, guys. You all right? How you doing? Well, I mean, yeah, it was a good video you posted, Rich, the other day about the Oxford game. Yeah, and Evening Boys says, Ian Brown says, great video on the lads, Richie. Probably put them in their place, says Ian Brown. It was a good video, Ian. It was great. It was good of him to send it and put it on, contribute on the channel. But Rich, I mean, yeah,
Right.
Enough's enough. I mean, look, I'm not having it anymore. The fact, like, saving ourselves for the playoffs and stuff. Does the fans really deserve watching that absolute crap show? Because it's absolutely dire, isn't it? I mean, 4 defeats on the trot. I mean, it's just not acceptable. It's fine, and they've got to stop. They've got to stop that rot, because there's not one Sunderland fan confident going into that playoffs.
How can you be, man? You know what I mean? It's just awful. Do you know what it is, Cabbie, man? Right? I'm just sick and tired of you know, like I said in that video, just fans saying, sort of like going on the negative, saying like, oh, you know, well, we've done better than what we have in previous seasons, and that, yeah, we have, I get that, but it's just the opportunity that we've got, Cabbie. We cannot waste this opportunity that we've got now. I mean, I think we've got probably the strongest squad in the playoffs, for definite. We've got quality in the team, but it's just, I didn't get what's going on with them, man. I think it's a lack of sort of like teamwork, a sort of like, you know what I mean? I don't know whether there's a little bit of split or divide between the team, or they just can't gel. It's just, there's something, because obviously they've gone to Portugal now for a few days, and I think one of the videos that I watched, I can't remember, it was the Breeze video, or I think it was Chris Metham or something. They were talking about using this as a time to sort of like get everybody together, get everybody tightened together. It's just hard, isn't it, mate? It's hard to watch this, and it's like the thing of like, oh, we're resting players, we're keeping players, we're playing a different tactic. We're going to sit back and sort of like keep the fitness and stuff, but it's not. You cannot do that, man. It's, how's that going to build any sort of like, you know, momentum? There's that word again. You know what I mean? But how is that going to build anything and give her a bit of confidence? You know what I mean?
It's a
annoying.
massive gamble. Like I said, I mean, if that's what he's trying to do by you know, just putting a 2% effort in on the pitch, if you even call it that, he's going to make himself look a right complete fool if with the same in the playoffs, because he'll have some explaining to do. Because if that's how we are now playing, and if that's our form going into the playoffs, and we play like that in the playoffs, to me it tells me that we just a breeze lost the dressing room if we play like that in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because nobody wanted to play on that pitch against Oxford, and it was the same against Blackburn and Norwich. There was just nothing. There was nobody making runs. Isidore was on his own, no man's land. There was just hoofing the ball. It was just, could not give an SHIT sort of performance. I was going to catch up on some chat on the Tricia says, evening Cabbie, Richie and my fellow cats, hope you're all well, get well soon, Davey. He spoke from the heart, what he said yesterday, said Stephen. It's not acceptable, says Tricia. Yeah, it's not, is it? John Nesbitt says, Richie, was that a massive rant coming from months ago? Ollie says, hello guys, how you doing? And Trisha also says Ian Brown, Stephen Martin, and John Nesbitt. Richie did speak from the heart, and the vast majority of fans agree with him. John Nesbitt says, what gets me is that another 16 teams would absolutely love to be in the playoffs. He says, these Muppets are a disgrace to our once proud club. But there just was not. I mean, you're looking, once again, full allocation of the away fans. But bear in mind, it wasn't thousands and thousands because of the small ground. But they still made the effort to, like, not get excited in one bit. You know, are you worried, Rich? Are you worried? I mean, are you trusting what LeBree's saying like, oh, it's all right, we're just putting on an act until the playoffs start? Do you trust what he says? Or do you think, like, because it's worrying, if that is how we are, we've got problems.
I don't know what to believe anymore, Cabby. You know what I mean? I had a load of hope last week when he came out in that interview and saying, right, these next 2 games, we're going to be changing it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he did say that, and he wanted the momentum to be built, but there was just no difference. There was nothing different on Saturday. Even if anything, it was worse. It's just we can't flick a switch, Cabby. And I tell you something, I'll eat the words if we do. But I just cannot see. We're just saying, right, all of a sudden now we're just going to be playing it with the very best. We're going to be doing everything like we did at the start of the season. We're going to be ruthless. We're going to be aggressive. We're going to be, taking every single opportunity. Like it's the FA Cup final. You know what I mean? It's like there's just no way I can see this team doing that. It's just like I said in that video, Cabby. It's the attack that I'm worried about because I mean we're producing absolutely nothing. And again, like I've repeated it for a number of weeks. There's nobody finishing the chances. There's nobody sort of like converting these chances that we're pumping into the box. So, I don't know where it's gone wrong. I don't. And like I said in my video, I mean, Wilson Isidore is winding me up rotten at the minute because he's been a Jekyll and Hyde type of player for. You know what I mean? He started the season. Absolutely, I thought this guy is it for us. I did think, he's what we've been looking for. You know what I mean? He got involved with the club. He was going to the fans all the time. It looked like he was making real effort to make a statement. And then ever since December, January time, he's just a different player. He's got no confidence. He's got nothing else to his game. Like he cannot hold the ball up to bring in other players. You know what I mean? Like a centre forward might do in certain games, in certain situations. He never does that. He just looks to try and get on the end of balls and have a sort of like pot shot every now and again. But like, I don't want him to play up front anymore for a Cabby. I just don't want him in that position. Play him on the left. Stick him on the left wing because that's where he plays. He's just not good enough for a striker, and he's just doing me headed.
Well, he's not a striker, as he's not an out and out striker at all. I mean, was it 12 games now without a goal for a minute?
It is, mate. Aye.
Just going to catch up on some more comments. Colin Major says, "Hi lads, spotted Jeanette, Davey's wife, yesterday, and she told me, says she will keep me updated about Davey. Says, come on, Davey, get well soon, mate." Says Colin Major. Good to see you, Colin. Good to see you, Steve Taylor. He says, "Evening, guys. I'm so concerned for the playoffs now." He says, "Confidence is a massive thing in footballers, and we're going into the last games of the season with no confidence at all now." He says, "But I keep the faith." Stephen Tricia says, "Yeah, we're all concerned." Sean Russell says, "Good evening, gentlemen." Stephen Martin says, "It's not money that is getting players not playing together. It's a bit like my workplace. He's on more money than me, type of thing. I've been here longer than them. What do you think, guys?" I mean, that's always going to be the case in football, isn't it? Someone who's played for years at the club, and then somebody the likes of Enzo Lafay comes in and gets like 10 times more than what you are. But that's football. It happens at every club, doesn't it? They've just got to bite the bullet and get on with it. I mean, it'll happen one day to them where they'll go to a club, and all of a sudden they're on 10 times more wages than what somebody else is. That's what you call experience. The better you become, the more your value goes up, doesn't it? Eddie Bamber. Hello, Eddie. How you doing, mate? You're welcome to join if you want to pop on, mate. It's up to yourself. Good to see you, man. Enjoyed your video. What you've been putting up. It says, as ever, a good away day apart from the bit between 3 and 5 p.m. So
Actually, that's a good point. I seen Eddie's video myself as well, and I was wondering what was going on at the end there, because you seen like obviously Chris Rigg and all the players coming over, but there seemed to be a bit of bother at the front. I've never been able to find out what happened, and obviously there's been words said, like, but that'll be interesting to find out what happened.
I know. I don't know. Look. There's not one Sunderland fan. Hello, Dougie Stewart, who's just popped in. Good to see you, man. There's not one Sunderland fan on social media anywhere saying, "Oh, we're fine. Let's not panic. We're doing this on purpose. We're just having a look about now. Why go hell for leather when we're in the playoffs?" And I can see what they're on about, like I say, because do you want to be risking getting injuries? But surely, God's sake, you can play better football than that. I'm not having any of it at all. It's like it's sudden depressing, man. It's sudden depressing, and all the Sunderland fans are not happy with it. There's hardly anybody saying, "I'm fine with it," because we're already in fourth. Let's just chill. Everybody's just so cheesed off with it, like. And whether you like it or not, I mean, if we play that bad, and we carry on, and we play like that in the playoffs, and we get obliterated and knocked to the side, then I think the fans will be wanting Regis Labrie to get stuffed. I know people will say, "Are you mad? Because we've finished fourth." I mean, yeah, we've finished fourth, but I think for quite a few months now we've been absolutely awful. The Stadium of Light, where there's been so many games the second half of the season, after the January transfer window, we've been a patch on what we were at the beginning of the season. I mean, I've not even bothered listening to Regis Labrie's press conference after the game because it's a lot of crap and stuff. Ollie says there was words said, and Chris Rigg and Wilson Isidore was having none of it. Ian Brown says, good to see you, Ian. He says, all the players are tired and worn out at this moment in time. They're all kids. Stephen Martin says, agree with you. Yeah, they're all kids. I can see that where you're coming from, but this is where it comes down to Sunderland not having strength and depth, where they haven't really delved into the transfer window. If it is there, if the real reason is as well is because our players is knackered and shattered, then we haven't got any chance in the playoffs at all. Because all the other teams are in the same boat as us. They've all played the same number of games. You see in the leads, smashing teams for 5 and 6. Burnley scoring 5 or 6. Cincinnati, the Sheffield United getting wins. Yes, the teams below us, the likes of Coventry, Middlesbrough and all that, they're not digging it at the minute. Ollie Davies just having some problems with his health. I think it's his diabetes or something, so he's just getting himself on the mend. But he's always asking after everybody, Ollie, and he's all right. He's all right. So he's keeping in touch with us, and he'll be back when he feels he's ready to. John Nesbitt says, look, everyone, he says, until these owners are gone, we are entrenched in this league for years and years to come. And when they are gone, good riddance. More fans are saying that about the owners, you know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, like the Coventry, the QPR game, I'm not overly all excited about it. Yeah, I mean, they'll get booed off at the Stadium of Light if they carry on the way they've been playing. They'll get booed off at the Stadium of Light, and that's not a good morale to have before the playoffs, is it?
No.
Wouldn't you like to see Sunderland thump QPR 4-5 now or something like that to making a statement before the playoffs? Imagine last game of the season.
100%.
Last game of the season, we'll lose 2 or 3-0 at home. I mean, eh?
No.
I don't care what anybody says, whether it's a friendly or whatever it is. If you're playing like that and you're losing, the whole feel around the club's crap.
Yeah.
Yes, Stephen Martin. When was the last
gonna
time?
have with them.
Wait, when was the last time we scored 4 or 5 goals in a game? I think that was way back against Sheffield Wednesday, wasn't it? Colin Mayer just says, I still think Regis should go if we don't go up. I just get the feeling he's lost the dressing room. Colin, that's exactly what I've said, the way we're playing. And just look at Regis Lebrie's body language, man. Even on his interviews, he's like, he doesn't sound enthusiastic, does he? He's the visit. It's like, it's like it's an effort. And yes, we'll finish fourth, blah de blah de blah, but fourth isn't going to get you promoted to the Premier League guaranteed, is it? It's the top 2 you want. It's the top, none of this playoff bollocks. First half of the season, 10 out of 10 Regis Lebree. Second half of the season, we've been awful. We've not been the best. It's only because we've had that massive cracking start of the season. Is the reason why we were comfortable being in the playoffs. Tell Davey we were asking after him, says Dougie. Of course I will, mate. Tricia says, Colin, I agree with you. Ian Brown says, 5th year of the plan. This is an all or nothing season. We'd lose half the squad if we not get promoting. A brilliant impression of Regis Lebree, says Tricia. And Janet says, if we lose to QPR, she reckons Regis Lebree, must go. I mean, I don't know. It's, in a way, it's almost like, yes, it's nice that we've consolidated playoff places, but it's not much. It hasn't been fun the last month and a half, has it?
I think it's since the Leeds game. Sure, it was like Davey that mentioned that. Actually, I think it was a good few weeks ago. If you just compare our recent performances compared to what we did against Borough and what we did against Leeds, there's a massive difference in that. Worlds apart, Cabbie. On the Lebree thing, I mean, look, I think we're all guilty of saying, he was the best thing since bread and butter, because he was at the start of the season and he was doing things really, really well. He changed our game, you know what I mean? He gave a little bit more of a confidence, and he works with youth players really well, and that's what our squad is about.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think, Cabbie, I don't know whether to say that, but I just don't think he's got it in him to get through the playoffs. I don't think he's that type of manager. And it's just annoying because we've got an opportunity now to get there. But if we don't get promoted this season, Cabbie, next season we're going to lose a number of our best players. I think that's a certainty. I think that is going to happen. And it's the same old story as what happened to him at the French club. Was it Lorient or?
I think so.
Who was that? I can't remember.
I think so, yeah.
And that's the same thing that happened there. He had problems there. He lost all his best players and he got sacked. Because I don't think he can turn it around. I just don't think he's got the passion in him. I think he's, like you say, I didn't think about that before, but I think he has maybe lost the dressing room with 1 or 2 players. I just don't think he's built right for us and what we need. But again, on that subject, mate, I'll eat my words if he does come out with this master plan. And honestly, I will. For me, I cannot say it, and I think there might be a chance that he might get the boot at the end of the season. You just don't know, but I think the board might say it is a wasted opportunity as well. I think I'm just in limbo at the minute, Cabbie. I don't know what to think.
We're not happy. We're not happy with the performances. They've been absolutely disgusting. But it all boils down to the two legs in the playoffs. So whoever we play against, like I've said before, I'm not asked who we play against, because you've got to beat what's in front of you, no matter who it is, and they're all going to be difficult teams. people are saying, I hope I get Bristol City. It'll be the easiest one out the lot. There's no such thing as the easiest one out the lot. They're going to be as hard as each other. Didn't care what any. You're playing at their ground, and even Sunderland at home at the minute have not been at the best. So it doesn't really matter at all as far as I'm concerned who you play. And I keep saying it. You might disagree with us or not, but no difference if we get Coventry. There's no difference if we get Bristol City, Burnley. So I mean, Blackburn or Millwall. It doesn't matter. It does not matter at all.
What do you reckon's gone wrong then, mate? What do you reckon has gone wrong the second half of the season?
Injuries, a massive thing. I mean, Mundle, when he's in the side, what a different team. We'll keep going on about Joe Bellingham and this and that, but when Mundle's in the side, we have that third dimension where we just look a different side. We look dangerous going forward. We were great in the first half of the season. Mundle got injured. We drew 6 games on the bounce when Mundle was out. This team falls to pieces when Mundle's out. It's for something he does, which just gets the team all clicking, and he's injured again. We just look lost. Yes, other injuries hasn't helped, and I keep saying as well, it didn't help by not getting a recognised striker for January transfer window. Instead, he was gambling by going on, thinking like we've got Isidore was banging goals in for fun, and I think they purely thought like, well, Isidore's doing the job, we didn't really need a striker, do it? Oh, we'll get Jayden Danns with a broken back. You know what I'm saying? There's things like that hasn't helped. There's still loads of fans saying it hasn't helped with Dodds going. Like at a lumpet, the players really like Dodds, and he's in the training role he was doing. There's quite a few things. Dougie says we never looked the same since that coach came in back in September. People still say that. John says just watching the Leeds Bristol game for sure we won't beat Bristol. And I'm not surprised John saying that with how we've been playing. Ollie says, why was there no show on Friday? I was really looking forward to it. What was I doing? I think I was busy, and I think Richie was aware as well. But in a plus side, let's give us more to talk about tonight. So my apologies there, Ollie. But you're here with us now. That's the main thing. Tricia says, I agree with you, Richie. I think he's lost the dressing room and hasn't got a clue what to do. Stephen Taylor says Bristol City are 1-0 down at Leeds already. There's no surprise there. D Hall, how are you doing, D Hall? He says, Fan Dylan Wade added, he says, Boo deserves after recent performances. He says, Rig, first to come over and react to us. He says, rest of the players got involved and then just started at each other asking what's going on. Ollie says he will get the sack because Tony Mowbray had no recognised. Hall says, Fan Joanne Youngson says, looked like Rig was getting grief, but the best thing was the whole squad came round him and stood together. Fans reacted to this and started singing. Michael Gunning, hello Michael, Yari, how are you doing? Good to see you. He says, hi fellas. He says, I keep hoping we can put 4 straight wins on the go and go from there. Well, you know what that would mean if it did. Yes, John Leeds 1-0 up. Stephen Taylor says, I'm not worried about Bristol City, provided we keep 11 players on the pitch. Steve, if we keep 11 players on the pitch and we've got a full strength squad and we play like we can, there's not one team in this playoffs half here. And I tell you now there's not, because when we're clicking and we've got all our players fit, there's no teams in that playoffs will touch us. But that's only if we are gelling and we've got our players back. Dougie Stewart says, could do with an English coach who knows the championship to work with Regis Labrie for next season. He says, because can't see us going up the way we are playing. Nope. Janet says, plus also not having a striker. Ollie says, my lineup for SAFC in the playoffs, he says, Pat O'Hume, Meffem 09, Serkin, Neil, Job, Enzo, Roberts, Mienda and Mundle. Mienda and Mundle, I think, will be class. Together like Janet, we are desperately in need of a striker, says Tricia. We are. Ian Brown says Mundell, Lafee injured, lack of squad depth, as simple as that. And we always have that problem, lack of squad depth every single season. Ian Curry, good to see you, mate. How are you? He says, hey up, mate. All these messages coming in thick and fast, Richie. Stephen Martin says, how many strikers do we need in the summer, guys? Well, I mean, one would be a start, wouldn't it? One. Well, yeah, of course, we need two, Richie, but no injuries, eh? Didn't they be going out there and getting someone that's got, like, a broken femur in 3 places or a snapped neck or something like that, do you know what I mean? Or his eyeball hanging out. And so we've got this great player,
Yeah.
but he'd be available in 15 weeks. You know, that's got to stop.
Yeah.
Colin Major says, the fans giving grief to the players helps nobody. Although, I agree with him. I mean, I can understand the frustration, Colin, because, I mean, they've paid a lot of money. They've gone all the way down to Oxford to watch that. You know what I mean? It's basically, it feels as if the club's turning around and saying, I didn't give a hoot about the fans. Do you know what I mean? I didn't care that you've travelled all the way down here. I didn't blame them, in a way. John says, this Isidore, can anyone explain to me why he can't head a ball? It's Bobby Basic stuff, and if a pro can't score with his head, he has to be got rid. And he's got a point there. Isidore has missed so many sitters with his head this season, even from 6 yards out, Richie, where he's had the goal gasping and he's put it wide. Or he's headed it straight to the keeper, where he's got 3 foot, 4 foot either side of the keeper, and he's headed it straight at him. He could have had another 3 or 4 goals, if not 5 goals, with his head, if he knows where it is. And Ollie says he will probably get the sack because he's like Tony. He had no recognised striker and a bad run of form, and he inevitably got the sack. And Colin says, I agree with you, Cabbie. Hello to 40 people in the chat, which is a good showing for a Monday. I mean, you've asked me where I think it's gone wrong. Eddie Bamber, yeah, all right, mate. I heard someone on Saturday say Isidore would get friend-zoned in a brothel. Oh, dear me. Where's Davey, says David Joblin. Yeah, he's just having a couple of health issues at the minute, and he's just getting himself put right before he can come on. Give me a ring, mate, says Ian Carey. I don't think I've got your number, mate, to be honest with you. I don't know. Richie, you were saying to me, weren't you? Where do I think it's gone wrong second half of the season? Where do you think it's gone wrong second half of the season?
Probably, I mean, injuries. I agree with you on that one, like, definitely, because Mundell, obviously, if, we triggered a little, obviously what happened, but we did go on that bad run of form when we didn't have him, and obviously, Tommy Watson got injured as well, didn't he? So we didn't really have anybody apart from the fair on that side. I mean, Jack Clark done the same job as well. He was sort of our number one going forward. Now it's Mundell, you know what I mean? But I think now, Cabbie, I kind of put my finger on it. I don't know why we haven't even tried to push to try and get the automatic positions. You know what I mean? There's been like a number of points. I'm not sure off the top of my head how many it is, how many points we've ended up dropping at the end of games, but I think it's a combination of different things. The only other thing I'll add to that, Cabbie, is like the tactics by the Brie. Because we were all doing with nut, weren't we, when we're like going 1-0 up and then was just sitting back for games. And then obviously, teams have come back and pulled it level or we've got beat, you know what I mean? So I think it's a combination of like injuries, his tactics, and just sort of like a little bit, maybe just a little bit of laziness coming from the players in certain games, you know what I mean? Giving up a little bit too easily and not having that leader in the team either when times get tough like they are now. Dan Neil, he's not the man for me to do that, neither's Luke O'Neill, really.
You want a Kevin Ball, Lee Cattermole type player, didn't you?
I've always said that, Cabbie. I think it might be looked at as a bit of an old school thing now, but like, we've got to have somebody like that in the championship, man. The championship's ruthless, man. You know what I mean? It's cutthroat constantly. And the amount of games that you play in the championship as well, you need somebody that's got experience and who can guide a team of young'uns like we've got to get through the games. And
it certainly hasn't helped as
yeah,
well. The Brighton sniffing around Tommy Watson, because he was not the same player after Brighton says that they're after him, and we didn't let him go in January. He was not the same player since then.
yeah.
His head was turned, and I do think the timing's rotten. Do you know what I mean? Wait until the season's done before you announce that you're selling or you agree to something like that. Do you know what I'm saying? I just don't think it's
Yeah,
right.
but what I heard on that though, Cabby, it was something to do with Brighton's taxes or something to do with some sort of financial side of Brighton that they had to announce it, so it was added to the tax year or something along those lines. That's a rumor that I heard. That's why it was announced so early. But it wasn't Brighton sniffing around Tommy Watson at the start of the season, and then it just kind of dwindled away, and then it come out that he's definitely not going. I just don't know why. The club must have had some idea that Brighton were going to come in again for him. You know what I mean? And
Well,
even Tommy Watson might have had an idea about that, but
100%, 100%, and it's turned his head. He's going to catch up on some more on the chat as well. He says, Dougie Stewart says, the way we are playing, it does not help your health. Ian Brown also says, where's Davey? Like I say, he's just having a couple of health issues at the minute, and he'll be back with us when he gets his cell pulled round, I assume. Stephen Martin says, was it when we drew 5 games? Yeah, I mean, we drew 5 games when Mundell got injured. That was the key. That's when the slide happened. The Packer Andrew, good to see you, Packy. He says, hey, Cabbie, Richie. He says, I could care less anymore about this club. Get rid of our manager. He's a chain round our necks. Sorry I'm late, mate. No, you're welcome, Packer. Everybody's frustrated by the way we've been playing. Regis isn't doing himself any favours with this tactics. When was the last time we heard from KLD, says Janet. That has been a while. John Nesbitt says, what's the famous saying, you win out with kids, and in our case, so true. He says, inexperience and players thinking they are better than they are is the big problem. Ian Curry says, Brown should be captain. Paul Stratton, Coventry fan, hope you're well, mate. Good to see you. He says, hi, Cabbie, hope you're well. We are both in squeaky bum time. Good news, you will not be playing Coventry in the playoffs. Well, I would not say that, mate, at all. Good luck to us both. Yeah, absolutely, Paul. Good lad, Paul, from one of the Coventry.
yeah.
He's a Coventry City fan, and he's a bit concerned. I'm just going to bring up let's have a look at the league table and stuff then. I mean, live standings. So as it stands, Bristol City have now played the same games as us, and they're on 67 points after they're losing 1-0. They're just a point ahead of Coventry. Millwall, the 2 points ahead of Blackburn, 3 points against Middlesbrough. I mean, last game of the season, Paul, Coventry, Middlesbrough. That's going to be a tasty tie, isn't it? I can't see any other team apart from Coventry being in 6. To me, they've got enough where they just get over the line. I mean, they were playing teams like Luton Town. They're fighting for their lives. It's the worst time to play a team that's fighting for their lives is when you're trying to fight for the playoffs, because they're hard teams to play. They really, really are. And it's an intimidating ground, Kenilworth Road. Like, I watched the whole game and they were battling like mad they were, but they're still 6th. I do think Coventry will do the job on Middlesbrough. I really do. That's just my opinion of it.
Cabby, if them two draw on Saturday, right, and Millwall win, I'm not sure who Millwall's playing, but that'll mean Coventry City and Borough are out, and Millwall will get the spot. And I think just checking the goal difference here. And it depends how many goals Blackburn score as well. Because they can go level on points with Bristol City, but if they've got the better goal difference than what they have, then it means Blackburn will get that slot. So it's going to be really intense on Saturday for these teams. I mean, let's be honest, I wouldn't want to be one in Sunderland in that position. I don't know about you. I think we're lucky to claim where we have and go through this bad form, but that is going to be a tasty finish to the end of the season on Saturday. I mean, just looking on form, I mean, Coventry have lost the last 2 games. Borough has lost and drew the last 2 games. But Blackburn's on a winning run. They've lost 1 game in the last 6. And with 1 draw. And Millwall's only lost 1 game and they've won the rest of the games. So them 2 teams are banging form. So it's going to be a very close call in my eyes.
I know. John Nesbitt says, Tricia says I should put a tag up about Davey. I'll just tell folk in the channel. I think everybody knows now. Tricia. Tricia's now a moderator on the channel as well. She's doing a cracking job. She takes care of the trolls and the idiots, and she's doing a cracking job.
Good on you.
John Nesbitt says Neil Rigg, Isidore 09, Roberts, Hielder, Samed, all atrocious. He says. Colin Major says not just frustrated with the manager, but with the club in general. Paul Stratton says, CABBIE, we need to beat Borough to make the playoffs. There's no reason why you can't beat Borough. Are you actually at Borough? You are, aren't you? Coventry, there are they at Middlesbrough? I think they are, aren't they?
Let's get the fixtures.
Check the fixtures. I'm going to read these messages. I'm sure you are. You beat them in the playoffs last season. There's no reason why you can't do it again. Steve Taylor says, should call Bristol City keeper Dracula. He's terrified of crosses. A bit like Patterson. Eddie Bamber says, Millwall are playing Burnley. Oof, crikey. Millwall are playing Burnley. As you said, Richie, I can't see Millwall getting anything out of that. They are playing at Middlesbrough.
Right. Yeah. Let's have a look. So, Coventry's at home, on Saturday. But it's between Burnley and Leeds for the title, isn't it?
It certainly is. Sorry to go on, but we have 5 players out. If we win, we qualify, Paul. Have faith, mate. You'll do it. And of course, if you finish 6, you'll be playing Sheffield United. And I don't think you've got anything to be worried about that either against Sheffield United. I know they're a good side, but I've seen so many times this season where they've been absolute pants even against us. Coventry Sunderland final. Oh no, I just don't even want to go on there. Eddie Bamber says, and Blackburn have Sheffield United, who have consolidated themselves. Michael Gunning, hello Michael, good to see you. He said, other than the past 5 weeks, it's been a great season for us. He says, I'm a big Regis fan. However, I would still love to see Tony Mowbray back at home again with us, says Michael. Dale Boyd says, not good for us playing Coventry. He's swearing. Paul Stratton says, no CBS centre-backs, I think. Is he going on about there? Stephen Martin says, we have to beat Coventry at some point, guys. Dougie says, CABBIE, are you going to continue these Monday nights during the summer? Of course I am. Absolutely. I think Richie's going to, won't you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. It's still football. There's still stuff to talk about. And we'll have to think of some sort of thing to do in the close season, whether have a quiz or have something daft. We'll get everybody involved. John Nesbitt says Sheffield United will win the playoffs far better than the other 3 teams. Paul Stratton says, let's hope we both hit some form and we'll buy you a pint at Wembley. Aye, it'll have to be an orange juice, Paul. I'm teetotal, mate. But do you know, I was listening to Talk Sport today, right? And they were talking about the gap's just too big for the top three teams, where the three teams that get promoted to the Premier League. And what they were suggesting is the fact, like, to give the team in the Premier League another lifeline. So what they're saying is, second, the first two go up. Third and fourth play each other at Wembley for a playoff final. The fifth team in the Championship plays the third off bottom team in the Premier League for a playoff.
Oh no.
That's what they were saying. So it gives the team another chance to keep themselves in the Premier League. It's just Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent that were talking about it today on their show, and they were saying the third and fourth have a playoff final. So it would have been Sunderland, Sheffield United, and then it would have been the team who finishes fifth will be playing another playoff final against Ipswich Town, and the winner of that, the team will get promoted to the Premier League, or if Ipswich win, they survive in the in the Premier League. And the reason why they were saying that is because the fact to try and give a team a chance to stay in that Premier League another season, because he can't see, excuse me, he can't see the three teams that will go up. Oh, bloody hell. Excuse me, he can't see the three teams that go up this season staying up in the Premier League. He says because there's no teams worse than the teams going up. He says, can you see West Ham gone down? He says, no. Can you see the likes of Wolves gone down, or a Tottenham, or a Man U, or a Villa, or a... Do you know what I mean? They're too good. It's like for one of them teams to stay up, a Leeds, Burnley, or whoever it may be that takes the third place. Can you see any other them teams in the Premier League getting relegated? Because I can't.
No. But I think it'll start to happen soon, though, Cabby, because something's going to have to give, and I don't believe that every single season the teams that go from the Championship are going to get relegated. I don't believe every season that's going to happen. I think we've got evidence already that there's teams like Brighton and Bournemouth and, you know what I mean, and Wolves, even Crystal Palace. You remember when Palace was stuck in the Championship and the lower leagues for years and years and years, and then they've cemented themselves in the Premier League. I think eventually someone will give. I think it's just going through a bit of a patch at the minute because obviously the game's obviously a lot different to the Championship, but I think it'll even itself out eventually, and I think the teams that will go up will cement themselves. And the teams that will come down from the Premier League will find it harder to get out the Championship. But in my opinion, I think that's a daft idea what they've come up with, because it's going to start a lot of debate and it's going to start a lot of arguments. And other teams, say like the two lower teams from like 19th and 20th in the Premier League, will say, well, why aren't we getting a shot here? You know what I mean? It's like, why shouldn't the bottom team of the Premier League play the fifth team in the Championship? And then that'll, keep one of vote, or the other way. You know what I mean? There'll be arguments over it, but there'll be a disadvantage as well, man. I mean, that, say, Ipswich playing Bristol City. I mean, Ipswich will just dominate Bristol City with their squad and the experience that they've had in the Premier League. You know what I mean? But I can understand why people are like trying to find ways around it. But I think, like I say, Cabby, I think eventually you give it a fair few years, maybe the next 5-6 years, we might start seeing a little bit of a difference into it. But it's one of them, isn't it? I mean, it's just what it is.
They mentioned this stat as well, that it's the first time 2 seasons on the trot, the 3 teams that got promoted are coming straight back down again.
Yeah.
It's the first time that's happened, where 3 that gone up are the 3 that's come back straight back down again. And they are saying if that is the new pattern now, where the top 3 go up and then they go straight back down again, something needs done. You need that rotation. You need that. Something needs done, doesn't it? I mean, can you imagine what good's that going to be if season after season the top 3 gone up and just come straight back down again? It's just This is not me saying it. This is what they were saying on the
Oh,
the
yeah.
radio today.
I mean, it's a fair point, and it's a fair opinion, isn't it? I mean, I can see where they're coming from, but personally, myself, mate, I just cannot see it happening, and I can see eventually this little thing that's going on at the minute will stop. Um, I mean, who's to say next season that Leeds and Burnley cement a place in the Premier League, and then the likes of maybe Everton and Wolves might struggle next season. You know what I mean? Just as an example, but
That's what I'm saying. If Burnley
yeah,
and Leeds stay up next season in the Premier League, which two teams in the Premier League would you say would come down? Do you know what I'm saying? It's a big shot.
yeah, aye, it is. Yeah, it's quite hard, isn't it, to sort of like think about that. But you know what football's like, Cabby, you know what I mean? A team, let's say, for example, Everton or Wolves, or they might sell all the best players. You know what I mean? They might want that money to come back into the club for whatever reason.
John, there's
I mean, let's look at Wolves. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Cunha's going to go in the summer.
yeah.
So,
Just kind of catch up on more messages in the chat. John Nesbitt says, how many season cards have been sold for next season? I bet you they are significantly down. Well, they'll be significantly up if we did get promoted to the Premier League, John. Mark my word, it'll rocket. But
aye.
Paul Stratton says, if you played Bristol City in the playoffs, remember they were the other team involved in 2-2 in 1977. I was only 2 years old then, Paul. I don't think I remember much about that. Ian Brown says, good point. Tricia says, thanks, guys, for the compliment of doing a good job. She says, it's appreciated. I am proudly more a pain in the arse. Bong says, never get relegated if a club spends 150 million like Nottingham Forest. Dale Boyd says they all move about. Dougie says, when was it Man U did get relegated? No, it was in the 70s. Dale Boyd says, we could beat West Ham on a good day. What about the Scum, says Dale. They're miles ahead of us, aren't they? I don't care what you say they are.
Aye.
Paul Stratton says, we played
Yeah.
Ipswich reserves in FA Cup. He says, they stuffed us 4-1 at home. Load of tosh, says Dale. Steve Taylor says, that's why the playoffs were when the playoffs first started. He says, when we lost to Gillingham, and it has already been done when we had a playoff against Gillingham when we played the team. I think it was the league above or below. So they have had that sequence when we lost and we got relegated and Gillingham stayed up. So Steve Taylor is right. They have had that sequence before. Dale Boyd says West Ham will struggle. Paul Stratton says, great show, lads. Always. Catch you next time. Good luck. You too, Paul. All the best, mate. And I'll be tuning in for the match against Middlesbrough. Steve Taylor says 73-74 season for Man U. Bong says if the next three come back down again after being promoted, maybe a super duper league would have loved Spurs and Man U coming down. Dale Boyd says, how's our mate in Oz? Packer says, what's your prediction, Cabby, for Saturday? I will come to that in a minute. John Nesbitt, Sky has ruined the Premier League. Now they're ruining the Championship with all the parachute money. Dale Boyd says, but they were in Division 2. Ollie says, Leeds have got a very high chance to stay up. John Nesbitt agreed, mate. Like I say, Ollie, yeah, Leeds and Burnley have got a big chance of staying up. But like I say, who's going to come down? That's what you're going to say. So Packer Andrew says, QPR then, I mean, we'll talk about that. I mean, I just think it's gonna be the same as what we've been watching. Okay. I mean, QPR have got now to play for. I think it's got 0-0 written all over it. I do. I'm going for 0-0. I think it's going to be another pre-season feel to it. I don't think there'll be a full house there, even though the weather's going to be glorious as well.
It is high.
But I'm going for noughts each. Great show, lads. Got to go. See you on Friday. You're welcome, Ian, mate. Have a great night. Bong says 0-0. What you going for, Richie?
I don't know.
A big
I
hello to
kind
the
of make my mind up
52,
between the
52
two.
people in the chat as well, which is a great show for a Monday night. Thank you for tuning in, people. What were you saying, Richie? Sorry, mate.
I want to see at least a 2-0 win on Saturday. I want to see we come out with the strongest possible 11, playing on the front foot and doing what Reggie promised. I want to see a better performance, definitely, but I want to see. Sorry, I want to see us dominate the game on Saturday and take control. Give a little bit back to these fans, especially at home as well. So maybe a 2-0, maybe 3-0. Whatever, just a win. You know what I mean? Just a win would be nice.
Because Reed just doesn't
Um,
want us playing too good because he wants the other teams in the playoffs to think Sunderland are a walkover. That's what his strategy is, isn't it?
oh God, man.
How
He must have a magic one, man. Him, you know what I mean? Just to say, right now we're gonna play like we should be playing. You know what I mean? It's not. You can't just do that, man. The players are not just going to switch on like that, man. But let's hope whatever he's doing this week with them in Portugal. I mean, that's if they've got power. Have you seen what's happened in Portugal? I mean,
yeah, no,
typical them gone out of there.
they're running around with candles at the minute. I says on one of the posts on social media, I says send them to the North Pole. I says it might put a rocket up there. I make them run a bit more. Going to catch up on some more stuff in the
Yeah.
chat as well. John Nesbitt says, look at the top divisions. Most of the teams are from down south, London area. Players won't come up here. Ollie says, so if you're talking about the playoffs for a team to stay up, will they just relegate the team higher from the zone? And what I show Richie and Cabbie, so here's my prediction for Saturday is 1-0 to QPR. Thanks, Ollie. Yeah, Dougie says hopefully to win. Stephen Jones says easy to score 5 because I'm his biggest fan. Ollie says 1-0 to QPR. He says bye bye Cabbie and Richie. What a show tonight. Bye bye. Thanks, Ollie. Cheers, mate. Have a good
Mate.
have a good Monday night. What's left? Regis excuses. Like I say, would you be happy if they went hell for leather, won 5 now, but got 2 or 3 injuries in the same process?
God,
Enzo Lafay went in.
Risk, isn't it?
Enzo Lafay went in for a 50-50 challenge because we want to see some commitment. We want to see some passion, and he snaps his ankle in half. Do you know what I mean?
You know. Yeah, I get you. Mm-hmm.
That was sarcasm, says
But
Stephen. Absolutely.
We've got to switch it on at some time, man, Cabbie. But what I will say as well, and I forgot to mention earlier on the stream as well, obviously with Job and Chris Rigg winning the awards as well last night. So a massive well done to the pair of them.
Yes, massive well done indeed. Yeah.
I think Job was up against some top sort of young players in the league, and he's come through with it. And I mean, we can't deny that because obviously when he got injured, our midfield was just shocking. But let's get him back to form because we know we've got quality there. Just an improvement, Cabbie. That's all I want on Saturday. Just an improvement. Just show that we want to win the game, and I'll be happy.
Send the fans off happy.
Yep.
D Hall says, forgot the team were in Portugal in a power outage. Somebody posted, I think. I'm going to put a post up on social media and send here's a picture of the boys training in Portugal. I'm going to just show a black picture, nothing. Just nothing. Oh dear. Tottenham's to struggle next season, says Stephen Taylor. I don't think they can be as bad as what they have. Crikey. I mean, this is what I'm saying. I mean, because the teams that's gone up have been so bad. You know, it would have been nice, wouldn't it, to see the bottom 3 put in a really good fight and make it really uncomfortable for the likes of Tottenham and Man U, because that would have been funny, wouldn't it? To see Tottenham, Man U possibly falling into the bottom 3. I mean, it just shows you Tottenham, Man U have been terrible this season with their league positions, but they're still light years ahead of the bottom 3.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? But they've been terrible this season, but they're still miles ahead of the bottom 3. This is what we're saying. Dougie Stewart says, rather not have injuries, but like Richie says, we've got to turn it on. John Nesbitt says, the attitude boys will get beat again on Saturday by QPR. The attitude is toxic and not a happy ship Sunderland right now, and that's what John says. Stephen Jones says an improvement for sure. And he says that will not take much. And I think it's a 12:30 kickoff, and apparently we're on the red button on Sky as well. David Joblin says Sunderland 3, Queen's Park Rangers 1. Michael Gunning says I'm going for a 2-0 win to us, and we will hit that form we have been lacking lately. He says, great show, guys. Thanks, and catch you on match day. Absolutely, Michael. Have a good Monday. So are you nervous for the playoffs, Richie, before we're gone?
I am. I'm not going to lie. I am a bit nervous. I think it's, well, obviously, I would be nervous even if we're playing in good form, you know what I mean? It is, but I'm even more so now. It's just Cabby. The reason I'm getting like that is because I don't think we're going to get another opportunity like this. If we stay down next season, I don't know whether we'll have an opportunity. Like, and what I mean by that is having the team that we've got. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm bricking it, to put it.
John Nesbitt says Mundle
you?
won't be in the playoffs along with Lafay. We are stuffed. He says good night, everyone. Good night, John. Have a good Monday. Dougie Stewart says to 2-0 win. I'm kind of numb at the minute. Do you know what I'm saying? Yes, I am, guys, said Stephen. I'm just sort of expecting us to fail. My anxiety will happen if we did get to Wembley, because you'll start to think, oh my God, it's the hope. If we play amazingly in the first and second leg and we obliterate the team and we're at Wembley, it's the hope that kills you, because then you start thinking, we play like that at Wembley, we're up in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Because it's easier losing in the semi-final in the playoff than it is losing in the final in the playoff. I don't care what anybody says.
Oh,
oof.
Yeah.
Tricia says, thanks for the stream, guys. Brilliant as usual. He says, I am nervous about the playoffs. Don't know what will happen, or at least a goal at the weekend. So that's it. We'll wrap it up for tonight. Cheers, Davey, for your help again. You're welcome, Janet. She says, thank you, Cabbie and Richie. And you want to give a message to Davey, Richie?
I get well, Davey, and hopefully we'll have you back for the playoffs, mate, because it'll be great to hear what your thoughts and opinions are, you know what I mean? But get well soon, boss, and I hope to see you soon, mate.
All right, get well soon, Davey. Everybody in the chat, and give Davey all your love, and to your family as well, and on the road to recovery, hopefully, and hopefully
you're a big miss, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully we'll see you soon, because he does watch the podcasts. You know, and I will say to Dave, my glass at the minute is still half empty. So we'll say good night to everybody. Sunderland win the playoffs, says David Joblin. Thanks both. Great show, says Stephen. Stephen Martin, thank you. Dougie Stewart, thank you. David Bong, good night, says Ollie. And Richie, thanks a lot, mate, for coming along. And like I say, if you want to post any videos, just let us know. Give us a shout if you want. Mate, I'll put it up.
Yeah, no, I'll run.
All right.
Anyways, all the best.
Cheers, Rich. Good night, mate. Good night, everyone. See you later.
Bye, man.
Ta-ra.